How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This will be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Morning, Mr. Charles, or good afternoon. I got a little lost in time today. I thought we were going to start in an hour from now. So I was kind of like, yeah, I'm having a good time. And then Charles was like, are you ready to go? And I'm like, wait a minute, it starts at 1:30 my time. So that's pretty soon, as a matter of fact. So we better get straight to race one here at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Might as well just roll with our picks to get started, right? So let's get going with race number one. Charles, at race number one, they're going to go. Hold on, where did that thing go for me? There we go. Let me just pull this up real quick, because as I mentioned, I was a little bit behind. Race one, 5.5 furlongs, claiming 12,500, non-winners of 2 lifetime. Race is going to start in just a couple of minutes. At that distance, Charles, last year when they ran, did favor early speed with 33% going wire to wire. The favorite, Brent Spence, is on the rail. It stinks. There's an absolute strong outside to inside bias. We won't get into all of our simulations or anything. Let's just go right to picks.
All right. My first pick is the one. I mean, I think he's the horse to beat in this race. He ran second last time out, got tactical speed, second start after a layoff. You're going to probably hear that word a lot today in all these races. A lot of second starts after a layoff.
That's a word, or is that a few words?
Few words.
You're sounding a little like Charles Barkley right about now. I guess it must be something with the word name, the name Charles.
Oh no, well, you know, he's just a brother from another mother. Mm-hmm. The 6 horse is my second choice here. Has some speed. Another one was second start after a layoff. One last time out. Jockey gets 24% overall. And then my third pick is the 4. This horse ran third last 2 times, and another one once again is second start after a layoff. Tactical speed fits with this group, and then the 5 horse is my final and price horse. Ran third last time. Trainer gets 15%, 90 plus days. Does have some speed, and I'm doing a try box with my top 4 picks.
All right, so I am going to start off with the 3 horse. I'm going to play against that crappy rail bias there. It's been really bad. At least it was last year. Bear Force has the top maiden special weight win in the group. Been off since November, and the works are okay getting ready. Brent Spence, the 4-5 favorite right now, did show much better 2 and 4 furlong numbers in its last race. History says likely to be better in the second start up. Indianapolis, 6 races, 1 win, a couple seconds, couple thirds. So pretty much in the money regularly, but that rail absolutely stinks. 2 of them, I don't know why either. I mean, maybe I can't explain it, but it did horribly. Tour of the Moon been facing much stronger competition, improved pace numbers from the beginning to the middle to the end of its last race. And as you mentioned, Charles, you're going to hear a lot about this. A lot of these horses making their second start after extended breaks. So hopefully you see some improvement with Tour of the Moon. Where's Mo? Coming off the maiden, claiming $12,500 win. I think it will be forwardly placed, catching a little bit of weight break, but certainly facing much tougher than it just defeated. And it took a couple of efforts to finally get over the hump. I'm not the biggest fan of maiden claiming risers without the strongest last race speed figure. Didn't see that. I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta, 1-3 over the 1-3-4. Over the 1, 3, 4, and 6, because I spent a lot of my money in my pick 4 today, Mr. Charles. So we'll see if that indeed was the strategic thing to do with my $100 bet. And it looks like we have a little bit of time here. So before we go on to race number 2, let's quickly kind of take a look, Charles, at our simulations so we can see what this race holds. Looks like Trap the Gold is the speed horse in here.
Yeah, this horse has an 87% chance of having that lead at the quarter pole. And then, you know, you also got the 3 that might push him a little bit. Mm-hmm. Simulation odds, you know, the 1 a little bit. I mean, you're looking at probably, 2 to 5. And, you know, and right now it's even money, so that's not a bad overlay. And that's about it when it comes to overlays on that aspect.
Indeed. So we have a little bit of time too. We'll rewind back over here to our way to the winner's circle worksheet. See 3 horses that want the lead, the 2, the 5, and the 6. That's been their way to the winner's circle. Of those, it looks like the 2, Trap the Gold, and the 3 horse. Oh, my Bear Force have the most early giddy up and go. Put together the early speed and the late, put together late speed, Tour the Barn, Tour the Moon, the 4-horse, catching the most late legs in there. Just a little bit better than Bear Force, my pick, and the favorite, Brent Spence. And finally put together the entirety of the race, early pace plus late pace. We see that my Bear Force has an 11-point advantage over Brent Spence. Anytime it gets to 10 points or more, Charles, it's a horse you should put into your picks. May not win, but certainly one that you could probably wheel around in exactas and trifectas and so forth. Good afternoon, Barry Knight. Can't wait to see your top selection in the third race. You're going to go with number 6, Keen Ice Sight in race number 3. What have you been to Horseshoe Indianapolis, Charles? It's not that far from you, is it?
No, I have not. Yeah, it's not that far. You're right. It's probably about the same amount of distance from me to go to Keeneland, to be honest with you. So maybe a 15 minutes more, but I mean, it's right there. Yeah, I want to go. I want to check it out.
The way you drive, you probably can make up that 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I drive a little bit fast too. I unfortunately, I haven't gotten a ticket, but in a while, I think. The last time I got a ticket was in Arkansas. Like I was in Arkansas for like 5 minutes and got pulled over for flowing with traffic. It was horrible. So there, yeah, and no offense to any Arkansasians. Is that how you would call people?
Okay, yeah, I think so.
But my man had an accent, and I could not understand him at all. And I felt like, here I am from the north. I'm in the south. I can't understand him and his accent. And I want to be polite because I don't want to make him mad at me. But I had to ask him a bunch of times, can you repeat yourself, sir? I can't hear you. Because, it was really difficult to understand what he was saying. And I don't know if anybody else has been in that situation, but you don't want to, you don't want to offend him and make him angry at you.
No.
Yeah, that's not all right. So they're pulling up. Nice shot from the drone overhead at the Horseshoe Indianapolis starting gate. Race number 1, the 1-horse has indeed loaded. Brent Spence, that is the favorite right now. He moved up from, he went back to 4 to 5. It looks like, and the 2-horse is settled in 2. He's jumping around a little bit in there, a little bit anxious on that 2-horse, showing a little bit of energy for Trap the Gold. Yeah, he's a little rambunctious in there right now. They're trying to get his butt in there, and he don't want to go in. So here we go with the lifting of the tail that we learned the other day with the 2-horse from Larry Ravelli. He says he's never seen a horse break sharp when they're lifting the tail, and they are lifting the tail on that 2-horse, Charles. Did you see that?
Yes.
So let's see if indeed how that works, because that's the one that's supposed to get the lead in here. 87% chance. I don't know if they're still holding the tail or not, but is that at any point you hold the tail, or do you have to be holding the tail when they're in the gate and about to go?
You have to hold it while they're in the gate because it controls them. They can't feel their balance.
And you know what? He broke poorly. How about that? Hat tip to Larry Ravelli. Put that in your handicapping book, because that's something I never knew before. So right now, as they race out, the 3-horse and the looks like 6-horse. Where is Mo? That duo is up on the front. The 2-horse, after the sloppy break, did find his way in a second. Does look like that 6-horse right now, after opening quarter in 22-9, has the lead. The 3-horse let him pass. So it looked like to me he wanted to have the outside lane and not the inside lane. Most likely, I would think he wants to keep the 1 at bay, or be able to see what's coming. As they come out of the turn right now, it looks like the 3-horse is got some momentum. He's got the 5 chasing on the outside there. 5 could be dangerous on the dance floor like Rita. Right now, the race does look like the 3-horse has raced the win. The 1-horse is trying to rally, although the 6-horse has found another bit of energy, because the 3-horse has been just all over the track. Charles, it's going to go 3, 6, and 1. I think in all likelihood, the 3 was the best horse in that race there, Charles. But that was a crazy ride out of that 3.
Yeah, it was 6, 3, 1. What? I can't remember.
I think 6, 3, 1. I'm not sure who came in 4th. I think it was the 2-horse, maybe.
The
one that got off to a funky start.
Yeah,
was the 3-horse that was all over the track, because he pulled ahead of the 6. Then his head went to the outside. Then he tried to get him to straighten out again. He didn't want to straighten out. Then he's finally trying to pull on him to get him change leads. He doesn't change leads at all. And then maybe
Okay,
At the end, he finally does.
the jockey's whipping on the right-hand side should make him go left, right? So, and he keeps on going right. That tells me that there's some soreness somewhere on the left-hand side of that horse.
Hmm.
The
So
horse always runs away from its injuries.
So if it has a little bit of a stinger in there or something.
Yeah.
So it went 6, 3, 1, and 4. So that's 6 horse. If I had made it my second choice instead of my fourth choice, I would have been right there, Charles. But unfortunately, it was my fourth choice. Did have the superfecta in my picks, just not in the right order. Little transposition error for me with the 3 and the 6 horse in there.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to race number 2. What do you say, friend?
All right.
All right, that one's out of the way. In race number 2, I think we give a pretty good description of what's going on in the races. Don't you think, Charles?
I do. I think so. We tried our best to say what we actually see, and
What do you think about having like a tag team calling the races, like they do in football or baseball, where they have like someone who's calling what's going on, and then like a person in there as a commentator? I think that nobody's done that. Maybe we should reach out to somebody and see if they'll let us try it.
That would be interesting, huh?
I mean, you don't have a whole lot of time to do it, so your rhythm would have to be good. But all right, so race number 2, they're going to run 6 furlongs, optional claiming. Hey, nice price to claim these ones, 62,500. So we're talking about Charles's budget type in here. 6 furlongs. So far, they've run, I think, 2 races. Both were won by horses that came from way off the pace. One of those winners was on the rail, like Karimba. One of those winners from post 4 through 7. So 2 races, really difficult data set to make much out of. But in our 1,000 simulations for race number 2, Charles, with Very Amelia on the sidelines, nonetheless, though, a couple of them look like they have the best chance to get the lead here, but all of them have some chance.
Yeah, they all do. They all have some speed, some sort. The 3 is got a 33% chance having that lead at the quarter pole, but the 4 is going to have a say in that, I believe, with 23% chance. That's who I think is going to be out in front. I think the 3 be pushing the 4, but hey, it's just who's going to get the best break. And then when it comes to simulation odds, you got slightly the 1, just slightly over 4 to 1. You got morning line of 5 to 1. The 3 itself, slightly over 2 to 1, got 4.5 to 1 in the morning line. And that will be it when it comes to overlays.
And the outside 4 horses all should get a trip based upon the early speed projections that they're comfortable with. They should be right where they want to be, so to speak. In race number 2, again, the 2 horses out of this spot. Charles, you have the 2 in your picks, however.
No, the 1 is out of here.
Are you sure in race number 2?
Yeah, I'm looking at my TVG account. Yeah, 1.
Let me just did I just press the wrong button? You're absolutely 1,000% correct, Charles. So that this is probably supposed to be the 2 for me then too. Hold on a second. That explains a lot. Did I just press the wrong button? Yeah, I have I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
That's the wrong button. That's all.
I underlined. Let me just get this correct. Text color black, not bold. All right, hold on. Black, streamline, text color black. It is this one that is scratched. You are 1,000% correct, Charles, and I just accidentally put the wrong one in there. All right, I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so anyway, in this spot, that's just black it out. I can't screw it up anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. Race number 2. As far as you went through the early speed and all that. Now I'm all confused. All right, so next up in race number 2.
Wait to the 1.
Race 2. Okay, here we go. So the 1 horse, I think the 1 horse is actually supposed to be up. This is all goofed up, so we'll just forget this all together, Charles. And let's
excuse, right? You got it right. The 1's out of it.
Oh yeah, the 1 is out. So here, I do got it right. All right. So the 1 was out, was supposed to be part of the early speed. Looking like the early speed, you got a lone E potential with the 3, although all of these other ones have the PC type to them, so they're a little bit flexible in their racing style. Looking at it, if you sort the early speed out here, we'll find that the fastest of them all is Poetic Verse. Coming home, the 3 horse looks like to me, or Very Amelia and the 3 horse Speedy Delivery. That duo has the most late speed, and the combination also has a little bit of advantage over the rest of the field. I'm going to go back and change my picks here to the 2 horse, Charles, but tell us what you have.
Yeah, well, the 2 is my top choice here. This horse won last time out. Second start after a layoff. You got a hot jockey and trainer in the last 14 days. And this horse has that tactical speed to just let them go out there and, tire each other out. The 4 horse is my second choice. One of the horses I think that will be up there on the lead has some speed. Trainer gets 24% with 90 plus days of rest. So you got a nice fresh horse here. You got a hot trainer and jockey in the last 14 days with that horse. And then the other horse, the 3, is the other speed horse. This horse ran second last time out, second start after a layoff. Well bet last time out, so people like him. And then the 5 is my final choice. It's my price horse here. It's got some of that tactical speed, and it's his second start after a layoff. The trainer gets 14% with that angle. So I think he fits here.
All right, as I'm trying to correct all this, forgive me, folks, for, again, as I mentioned, I was a little mixed up with the clock today, and I don't even drink or anything, Charles, so I really don't have an excuse. It'd be one thing if I got up early in the morning and did some waking and baking, or I started drinking, but I don't do any of that stuff, so that's there's really no excuse. So, all right, so I got the 12 in here. I don't need the 12. There's not a 12 in the race. I'm going to start off with the 2 horse, Very Amelia. The horse has definitely been in good form. Second a couple of times and won the first time off the bench with Deshaun Parker in there. Good friend of the show. Like to see Deshaun in the money. 6 out of 8 at the distance. Do like the fact that the horse came off the bench to run one of its top late pace numbers in there. Next up for me behind the 2 horses, Poetic Verse. On that fast track, Charles, this horse has won 5 out of 7. Did tie for the top last race speed figure. Went wire to wire in ease with its last race, first off the bench. And the second up is usually, according to the resume, a little better than the first. Number 4, Chandana. Been off since October. Workouts are good, and it has a bullet before the last workout before coming to the track. Today's a bullet. I call that a bullet and go. They usually do well, and this horse has done well at Indianapolis as well. In the money, 12 out of 14, with 6 of those being wins, 5 of them being seconds. Speedy delivery, the 3 horse, an overlay, does have a solid chance of being forwardly placed. I'm going to do a trifecta, 2-6 over to 2-4-6 over to 2-3-4, 5, and 6. I think I got that right.
And I'm going to do that $5 exacta box, 2-4.
2-4 for Charles. And now we move forward to race number 3, I hope, because I'm a little bit discombobulated by myself today, Charles. This is the one that Christopher D'Souza. What's up, guys? How you doing today, Christopher? Good to see you. This is the one where Barry likes the 3rd race, the number 6, Keen Eyesight, in race number 3. Much like the opener, they're going to go 5.5 furlongs. We just saw at the opener, Charles, that the horse there was pretty much forwardly placed and then went on to run by everybody to keep the W in there with that 6 horse, and the 3 horses right there too, chugging along, but kind of running sideways. So they were not on the lead, but forwardly placed, which is, I think you'll probably see that at the track today. My experience in Horseshoe Indianapolis has been that way. Usually horses forwardly placed do well. 33%, in fact, go wire to wire. The rail, again, stinks. We saw that in that last race. Maybe that's the problem with the one there. Shape of you, you're going to struggle, buddy. Outside in is better. In race number 3, Charles, I hope I got the scratches right. Thankfully, there aren't any. The speed belongs to the 1 and the 2 on the inside.
Yeah, the 1 has a 49% chance of having that lead at the quarter pole. The 2 is going to have definitely a say in it, I believe. It's got a 38% chance having that lead. So I think those 2 are really going to go out there, battle it out big time. And possibly even the 5 will push them along. But I think the 5 is going to be in the perfect spot to wait and pounce at the right time. When it comes to simulation odds, we got that 2, 4-1, and the morning line is 15-1. That's a nice overlay. Mm-hmm. And then that's about it when it comes to simulation odds.
Yeah, that 2 horse too, good C-zone score, good chance to be forwardly placed. Neither one of us has them in the 4 picks. It was a tough call for me between the 4 and the 2. You see the 2 did make my back end of my trifecta there. In the third race, looking at the pace shape, the 1 and the 7, they want to be pace setters. Let's see if indeed they are the case. Well, the 2 horse, Granite Candy, along with Shape of You, Bluegrass Anna, that trio should be the ones that are pulling the cart when the gates open and the dirt starts flying as they're coming down the stretch. Keen Eyesight, the one that Charles likes as the most late speed. Early speed, late speed combination belongs to the favorite, Bluegrass Anna, although Keen Eyesight is close behind. Looking at this, it's a competitive race. Looks like maybe the 3 and the 4 a little out of touch. They'll need their best to compete with the rest. Charles, I know Charles wants to see if you have the 6, but you got the 5 here.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a good race here. I haven't exacted box between the top 2. I think the 5 is my top choice, though. One last time out, has some of that tactical speed. Like I said, should be sitting right in the right spot, which should be about third, and pounce when he has to. Second start after a layoff, hot jockey trainer combo, last 14 days. And then you got to talk about that 6. The horse ran third last time out. Another one with second start after a layoff. Trainer gets 15% with that angle. And it's got some of the tactical speed too, just like the 5. And then the 4 horse, this horse ran even last time out. This horse has some speed, so he kind of fits with this group. I just don't know if he's fast enough to keep up with the 1 and the 2. And then the 7, another horse that has some speed, but once again, I don't know if they could keep up with the 1 and the 2 when they're running up front. Mm-hmm. Second start after a layoff, 1 last time out, so it definitely fits with this group.
I am going to start with the 6 horse, just like Mr. Barry Knight over here. The reason I'm going to start with the 6 horse, Charles, it's an alpha angle. And an alpha angle is anyone that wins at 15% or more. And I recall reading in the book with Barry Meadows that horses that make a quick turnaround. This one's actually coming around. It just ran 8 days ago. Now, Charles, you were a trainer. Under what circumstances would you turn a horse around in 8 days?
When their last race, the day after, or even the second day after, they're basically tearing down the barn. They got so much energy. They feel great. I brought back horses a couple of times between 7 and 10 days, a couple of times.
And what happened?
And they either won or they placed, they finished in the money. Let's put that away.
Well, in that race 8 days ago was the top last race speed figure and the theme of the day, second start off a layoff. Curious, Barry, is that where you were looking at too, that short layoff? They turn around so quickly from the May 8th run. The 5 horse, the favorite, is my second selection, Bluegrass Anna. Won her first race at Indianapolis last time out with ease, moving up in class. I'm a little bit concerned about that ease race at Indiana because the fractions were actually kind of on the slow side. So I'm not sure how good of a race that was. Wasn't really challenged though either. So I'm going to guess bad field. Shadow Bell, the 7 horse, been at Horseshoe Indianapolis twice, both on the fast track. And guess what, Charles? Found the winner's circle in both of those efforts. Almost going wire to wire. Last time out at a mile, gave up the lead and then fought back and got it back, which I like to see. Flat Discount, the 4 horse, been at the distance 5 times, won 4 of them. Third in the other, so clearly likes to run these short sprints. Deshaun Parker will be in the iron, so he'll get it out front, get it a good trip, and see if it can make it 5 wins in 6 races. Trifecta for me, 5, 6, 7 with the 5, 6, with the 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7, because that 2 horse, the overlay and the strong C zone and chance to get the lead does concern me quite a bit. The next race is the 4th. 5.5 furlongs again, Charles. As we mentioned, early speed outside to in is better. There's no question about that. We just saw the 6 horse win at 5.5 and was one of the outside horses there. At this race, Charles, in the 4th race, tell us about the simulations and the odds and all the good things that we can make out of these green and red and white cells.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed in this race. The 5 is most likely going to have the lead with 39% chance of having that lead at the quarter pole. But the 1 is going to be right there at 20% and possibly even the 8 at 17% of having lead at the quarter pole. So between those 3, you're going to have a good little pace. Simulation odds, there's not much other than the 8, just slightly under even money. And you got the morning line of 3.5 to 1.
And he's got a strong C-zone score in there too. So the 8-horse, Music to My Ears. This trip should be music to his ears. And yeah, Barry did say that quick turnaround is one of his favorite angles in there. So I'm glad that we were on the same page there. There wasn't some obvious thing that I missed, which is the theme for me today anyway, so far. Our way to the winner's circle sheets, thanks to Google. This is a pretty balanced race. A couple that want to be on the front, a bunch that don't mind being in the middle. The 6-horse should get some tactical speed in there in between the closers and the early runners. But if they go too slow, the 6-horse can take charge if it so chooses. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Looks like the 1-horse, Metallic Man, Charles's favorite band, mine as well. 97, and then Oro Azteca. So the Gold Aztec, it's going to be in their second, the PC type. Late pace belongs to the 8-horse, Music to My Ears. Denang. Oh, but that's a pretty tough one. Malibu Classic. They'll be involved at the end as well. And the Music to My Ears scores out along with Metallic Man. Those two with a pretty sizable advantage over the rest of the field. Not surprising if one of those two brings home the top prize. Charles, what do you think?
I think it's the 1 all the way. This horse won last time out, has the speed to steal it, has the speed to sit right there and take over when he has to. Trainer gets 14% over the past year. So I think he's the one to beat. The 2-horse won last time out. You got a second start after a layoff. Trainer gets 18% with that angle. Plus that trainer also gets 23% year to date. So that's a high percentage for that horse. And then the 6-horse, another one that has some of that speed that who knows what they're going to really do. They could sit there probably like third or fourth. Second start after a layoff, you got a trainer that gets 15% with that angle. And then, like I said, you said already, the 8 is another one you got to watch out for at the end. One last time out, has that tactical closing speed. He was claimed last time out, but I just don't know if they're going to catch that one.
The rail stinks, though, Charles, at these 5.5 furlongs. We saw that heavy favorite there. If it were one of them, will get there. Yeah, we'll see. Well, I'm going to go with the 5-horse Oro Azteca, the Gold Aztec. He's making a class drop here. If you look inside the numbers of the last race, it was better than it looks in the past performances because the in-race pace numbers were all better across the board. That was that first race off a layoff, Charles. Today, it's going to be better on that class drop in the second start after layoff. Music to My Ears, been at Indianapolis 23 times, went to the winner's circle in 11 of them. Been off since January, but since that time frame, staying busy on the practice track with 25 furlongs workouts. No question the overlay with the strong C-zone score is going to be fit, firm, and ready to run. Metallic Man did come off the bench, won its last race by 7.5 lengths with the top last race speed figure, Charles. Moving up in class for round 2 off the bench, but that rail really stinks. Number 7, Good Sugar, a little bit of a price for me in here, Charles. Better internals last time across the board, like the 5-horse. Going to catch a weight break in here today. And if you look at the horse's run, the horse never really got a weight break in its last 10 efforts. So this is the first time the trainer, John Heron, has done this. I got a sneaky feeling that the track work is telling him that he thinks the horse is close. We're going to get a decent price on that one, too. Just trying to read the tea leaves on that, Charles. You got 20 to win on your 1. Is that right?
Yep.
And I'm going to go 50-cent trifecta. 5-8 over the 1-5-8 over the 1, 2, 5, 8, and 7. It looks to me like Horseshoe Indianapolis is another one of these tracks, Charles, that tells you it's 2 minutes to post, but it's really more like 5, right?
Yeah, or even more, be honest with you. They just started their post parade.
Not as annoying as the likes of like Gulfstream Park or Charlestown for that matter, right? Charlestown is just all right. So 1 mile on the turf. Turf's firm. They got a couple of these good guys today, Charles. Maiden 36,000 special weight. The mile on the turf. Only 4 races. Half of them won by speed. Half of them won by closers. One of the winners came from the rail. One went wire to wire. So you have 3 of the 4 came from post 1, 2, and 3. The other one came from post 4, 7 through 7. So really not a whole lot to read into that, Charles. It doesn't really matter your running style. I would say probably in that case, the best horse would probably win. But if speed's going to get the job done, looks like Anchor Maine is going to be the one they all eventually have to pass.
Yeah, and it's like 51%. And in my book, I think it's even higher. The 8 horse might have a say and push him along, especially with that 12 being scratched out today. I think the 2 is going to have an easy time of it up there and just kind of walk to pedestrian style pace. So, and get the win. When it comes to simulation odds, we got that 2 also at probably right around 2 to 5, and you got 2 to 1 morning line. I don't know if we're going to get 2 to 1, but we still might get even money. And
Pretty
then
good value at even money, because it looks like the odds could go as low to 1 to 2.
yeah. So other than that, there's no more overlays on the board.
Not a 1, just the 2 horse, the favorite indeed. And then at the race shape, the 13, going to crack it out there for the first time. The 12 got scratched, was one that I thought could be a factor in this race. None that really like to pilot. Got a couple of co-pilots in the 5-10. See which one of those might go to the lead. Well, the Anchor Maine, this closer type. So you got a closer with the early speed that'll put it forwardly placed. In my book, Charles, they call that a left arrow horse, which is actually my creation. The 2 horse also, it looks like it has the best late speed in the bunch. So you can't pass what you can't catch, right, Charles?
That's right.
And then the early speed, late speed combination, a 14-point advantage over the 10. Again, whenever you get to 10 points or better, a horse that you absolutely should be centering your bets around, maybe wheeling exactas, trifectas, that sort of stuff, potential singles in your vertical races. Where do you guys get your program from? EP, I create that stuff for Superman. But it's data taken from Brisnet, but it's some work that I've done on my own to go ahead and kind of try to figure out what the best combination of numbers are to create my own score from the Brisnet numbers. All right, Charles, take us through your picks real quick, and then because we've got a couple of minutes to race number 2.
Yeah, for me, it's the 2 all the way. This horse drops in class. He ran even last time out. It's the second start after a layoff. Not just the speed, but tactical speed. I think this horse could do whatever it wants. So I see him in the winner's circle. The 10 horse is my second choice. Hot jockey trainer combo, 14 days. This horse will be closing. He was well bet last time out. Trainer gets 17% with 90 plus days off. So I see that one flying at the end. And then the 3 horse is bred for turf. Hot jockey trainer combo in the 14 days. Totally fits in this race. And the 6 horse is another one that ran even last time out. Second start after a layoff. Fits in this race. So I think he will have a say to some of the exotics.
And you got 20 to win on what's likely to be at best the 1-to-1 shot, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I got the 10 hitch pin. Going to try to beat that heavy favorite in there. Lone Trip on the turf came real close to getting the W. We talked a little bit earlier about Barry Meadows and the last workout before going to the races being a bullet and go. Hitch pin hits that, checks that box. Also has 28 furlongs of works getting prepped for this first race off of the bench. Anchor Maine comes in from Keeneland, dropping from a maiden special weight $100,000 in his first grass grow. Tied for the top last race. Speed figure gonna drop, though. I think he was like 41-1 or something like that in his opener. So bettors really didn't back him down there at Keeneland. I know it's a big track drop, but we'll see if maybe we can get by with a little better odds. Buckle up. I'm going to take a flyer with the 4 horse in here, Charles. One of the more lightly raced horses in the field. Decent breeding for grass. First time it's going to go on the turf. First time it's going to go long. So you got a couple of reasons for hope for this horse, whereas a lot of the other ones have shown their wares already, haven't proven what they can do. And then finally, another shot for me, Bugsy Breeze, that 13 horse. Trainer wanted this one in there as also eligible for a reason. First time starter. Going to get the top jockey there, or one of the top jockeys in Deshaun Parker. Can't imagine that Deshaun's going to take a mount where he doesn't think he has a chance. But he did say when he was on Horse Center that he loves to ride. So he probably would take the ride just for the sake of it. Trifecta 2, 4, 10 with the 210, with the 2, 4, 5, 10, and 13 for me, Mr. Charles. Here we have, again, a look at race number 2, which is coming up in just a moment. I mentioned Horse Center. Last night on Horse Center, they had on Loreno Sosa. I think that was who was on last night. Indeed, it was an excellent show. Now that I remember, young man that I met when I was down in Tampa Bay, impressive young guy, very good with the technology. In fact, he was the first person to take over our Instagram account, where he went through and just kind of videotaped to put his whole day up in there. So we're doing more and more of that. You can find our TikTok, our Twitter, our Facebook page, YouTube, all of that stuff. While you're here, please hit subscribe. Facebook, subscribe as well. Hit the thumbs up on both of those venues. It helps us with their algorithms. Tonight on Horse Center, let's see who the guest is tonight. Should have been a little bit more prepared as they're getting ready for race number 2. Tonight on Horse Center, we have, there we go. Tonight is jockey Rachel Slavinsky, exercise rider, now a jockey, got her first career win, Century Mile, and as currently at Woodbine. One of the things we do like to do is introduce you to new people. Again, 8 p.m. Jamie and Sean, should be a lot of fun. Make sure you tune in for that. Best way to miss nothing is subscribe while you're here at YouTube. All right, kind of went through all that's available there. Charles, race 2, they're all about set and ready to go. It looks like the last one to get in is the 7, and they're running in that 3 horse, Speedy Delivery, along with the 5 horse got in the middle there somehow. The 3 horses on the lead, it's the 4 horse in the middle, Chandanda with the 6 horse. That trio is across the track, 3 wide with a little bit of a gap to the 7, a little Evie. Charles, try to chime in with a little bit of analysis. Let's see if this 2 horse guy thing works there.
Well, I mean, the 2 broke really bad, and now is running up on that rail, so it looks pretty good there, trying to catch up.
The opening quarter in 22 and just a little bit under 3. Does look to me like right about now, the horse on the outside there is about to take charge. That is the 6 horse, Poetic Verse. Chandra, though, in between horses, kind of tough, in my opinion, Charles, to run 3 wide all the way around the track.
And that one, I mean, the 2, what is he going to go on the rail or try to squeeze in between them? Probably going to shoot for the rail, it looks like.
Yeah, but it looks to me like
the 3 now is drifting over. So
yeah, the 3 horse, the 6 horse is another one. It looks like he's trying to get him to go. I think the 6 horse is going to get. Is he going to get him?
3, 6.
I don't think he's going to get him.
3, 6, 2.
It's going to go 3, 6, 2, and 7. So once again, Charles, I have the trifecta in my picks, but my 4th pick is beating my 2nd and 3rd pick. So in the next race, folks, take my 4th pick and put it first. Might do a little bit better. And that guy went off at 3-1 with Speedy Delivery with Hannah Leia, who was also a guest on the Horse Center show. And she did a good job of keeping her horse going straight. And I think that was a difference in that race because, again, the 6 horse in there with Eduardo Perez, that one wanted to run a little bit around the track too. It was the kind of swerving a little bit of DUI for the 6 horse. So the next race for us is what? 6, Charles? Or do we just do 6?
6.
All right. So race number 6. The 6th spot is a maiden race in here, maiden special weight, $34,000. They're going to run 4.5 furlongs. 4.5 furlongs. It starts here on this early turn, Charles. So you would think that the inside horses would actually have the lead, but actually not. Last year, the outside horses had a really strong outside to inside bias. Because there's too many first-time starters in here and horses with just 1 race or so, 2 races, we couldn't do simulations with any form of accuracy. So we'll just go to picks and hope they're accurate.
Yeah. So for me, the 4 horse here has got some nice solid works. Got a hot trainer in the last 14 days. Jockey gets 23% at this meet so far. So, I mean, everything says a go for this horse. The 1 is my second choice. Dam had 3 winners from 4 starters and got some solid works there. A hot jockey last 7 days. And then we got the 8 horse, my third choice. The Dam has 4 winners from 4 starters. Hot jockey trainer combo last 14 days. Solid works. Everything looks good there. And then the 5 horse is my final pick here. The Dam has 5 winners from 8 starters. 2 of them are stakes. And the trainer gets their 13% with first timers, and this horse is bred to be fast.
And a trifecta box for Charles with the 1, 4, 5, and 8 for $12 in there. I'm going to try to do a pick 4 in here, Charles. I think you got a shot to maybe catch something in this first leg. Heavenly Dream, I do like the outside post. As I mentioned, outside has done better than the inside. If you look at those 2 workouts on April the 15th and April the 27th, they were really good. And then the owner and the trainer are the same person, Charles. And I notice a lot of times when the owner and the trainer are dual roles, that those horses always seem to perform well. They get placed well. As a trainer yourself, have you owned a horse?
Yes, I have. And
So when
trained
you
it. Yes.
owned and trained, were you a little bit more judicious in its placements because you didn't necessarily have a third party ownership telling you just run them?
Well, usually the owners fall in love with their horses and they think they're worth way more than they are.
Kind of like fantasy football. Everybody, when you try to make a trade,
no one wants to make a trade because they think every player is the best. It's sort of the same thing. As an owner trainer, I had a horse that I had, and I ran it the first couple of times, probably over his head, but I wanted to see where he was at, and then I galvanize him, and then I drop him into a claimer where I knew that he was totally better than that, and we won. We broke the maiden right there like that.
All right. Well, I see the trainer and the owner are the same on the 8 horse. So I figure those good workouts, he's definitely spotting them in the right place. Union Suit, the 4 horse, does have that strong jockey trainer combination that you mentioned. And the final 3 works getting ready for today, really strong. I think you'll see that translate to the track today. Unlike my golf game at the range, looked like I could be on the PGA Tour on the range. But when I get out there, it looks like I've never played before. 5. Pretty Vegas. The workouts are blah on this 5 horse, but they're kind of on par with the others. When I say blah, like 19th of 48, so they just like middle of the road type where it relates to the other horses. But when you look at the times, they're on par with others. So I just wonder if maybe that horse was working with better stock. And I have a feeling she has more than what she's shown on the track so far. Charles, do you think that that's a good way to read that? And that if one horse is out against like 15 and ran a 48-1, it was the second fastest. And the other one was 48-1, but it was 19th of 43. You just feel like the one that was the same time, but a little bit deeper into the field was just running against better horses that day?
I mean, you could say that, you got to watch it, but I think I pointed out all last week, when we were talking about the Derby, Mage, I kept on saying, and I said the last few workouts I loved, and everyone's saying it's one of the slowest workouts ever out there. And I kept on saying what he did, how he did that workout was the keys, not the time. So sometimes, yeah, you're right. If it's everybody's going for it, yeah. And if you're you're going balls to the wall type of thing, yeah, it's not a good thing. But if they're doing everything correctly and doing everything perfect, the time has nothing to do with it.
Finally, for me, the 9 horse, tough call for me over year 1, Charles, over Lucky Lesson. But the 9 horse, Screaming Virginia, does have the stronger post position and does have some nice works at Keeneland. So again, I think practicing against better stock. 4, 5, 8 to start the pick 4 with the 8, 4, 8, 9, 11, with the 3, 8, 11, with the 1, 8, 9, and 12 to close the show. And that used up all of my budget, I think, Charles. I'm pretty sure it did. If not, well, I left a little bit of money on the table then. George here says $1 exacta 4-9 in race number 6. All right, George, hopefully that comes in for you. Let's look at race number 7, right, Charles? That's where we are now?
Yep, that's where we're at.
All right, race number 7 at Horseshoe Indianapolis. We're at a mile on the turf again. Allowance 36,000. Again, only 4 races on the turf, so kind of tough to get a sense of what the real biases are. 2-1 from up front, 2 from 1 off the pace. So maybe it's a fair distance and surface. Our simulations for race number 7, the 13 and 14 are scratched, but it looks like there's a few horses that have a shot to get to the front.
Yeah, you got the 1 at 33%. You have the 10 at 30% of getting the lead at the quarter pole. So those 2 horses are really going to probably really wing it and try to get to it. The 2 might have a say in that. So, watch out. I think we might see 3 horses out there blazing a little bit. When it comes to simulation odds, we have that 5 horse slightly over 3-1, and the morning line is 6-1. So that's a nice overlay. And then we have that 9, just slightly under 2-1. We got a morning line of 5-1, and the 10, 14-1. Morning line's 15-1. Not too bad either. So there's some couple of nice overlays in there, and you got plenty of speed in this race. So
And a lot of strong C-zone scores in here, Charles.
Yeah.
This race should set up nicely for a whole host of horses in here.
Yeah.
And as far as the race setup is concerned, looking at the pace figures here that we have so far, you see that the 1 and the 10, those two have a little bit of flexibility in there, so they can be on the lead or be co-pilots. The 8 horse wants to be a co-pilot in there, so the early recent speed says that Schuylerville, the 10 horse, is the most likely to be the lead. In fact, does have a 7-point advantage over the next closest horse, so it's very strong likelihood the 10 horse will be pulling the cart. See if he'll be able to hold off a host of horses coming down the stretch, but Land Slid, that one will be the one that has the most juice as the race comes to a close. And then French Cuffs rates out as the top horse with early speed and late speed. Charles, who rates out as your top horse pick-wise?
I like the 5. I think it sets it up for him pretty good. The trainer gets 11% with 90-plus days of rest. Got some solid works in there. The jockey is at 50% at this meet, so he's not doing much wrong. And this horse will definitely be closing. There's no doubt. The 4 is my second choice. He won last time out. Got some of that tactical speed. Trainer gets 14% with 90-plus days. So you got 2 fresh horses in the first 2 spots. Well bet last time out. So makes him a little dangerous. That's why I put both of them in my exacta box. And then the 8 horse is my third choice. This horse drops in class today. You get some tactical speed. Well bet last time. Trainer gets 17%, 46-plus days off. And then the 9 horse drops in class also. Has some speed to keep up at least. Toss that last race. If you do, he'll be right there. And you got a hot trainer in the last 14 days with this horse.
I'm going to start with the 11, Habiwaha. I don't know if I got that right. But anyway, that one's just a nick away from winning 3 of 3 on that Indy grass. So clearly a horse for the Horseshoe Indianapolis grass course. Macadamia, the 8 horse. This one is for you, my friend Charles. By far the top pedigree numbers in this race. It's not close because we had a big discussion over pedigree. Charles loves it. The data says it's not all that important. French Cuffs, 3 of 4 on the Indy turf, ended in second place for this horse. Strong late pace, and the horse is going to move down in class. So those late legs with a little bit softer field might prove to be the difference maker. And then Selenia, I'm going to take a little bit of a flyer. I see Charles was definitely in my notes. Otherwise, he would have never picked that 4 horse. Debuted at Saratoga for $105,000 maiden special weight. Poor horses don't do that. Followed up with the maiden special weight at the Meadowlands for $40,000 in race number 2. Been off since September, but the workouts at Keeneland are noteworthy. So I got that 4 in there. No bets for me, Charles, because I am unfortunately rabbit-eared in terms of my pockets. Nothing in them anymore.
And you took off my picture. You know, people want to see my beautiful face.
When did I take off your picture?
I don't know. I don't see myself. I don't see myself.
You don't see yourself on the screen?
No.
You may have frozen then. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Huh. Okay.
Right, so that's probably the best of both worlds for everybody. They can hear you, but they don't have to see you.
Well, as long as they can hear me, because the golden words will come out of my mouth.
Yes, indeed. Race number 8, 5.5 furlongs, maiden special weight, $38,500. Again, 5.5 furlongs. We talked about that race favoring early speed with 33% going to wire. To wire, the rail horse stinks, and not the horse itself, but the rail has been an underperformer. Sierra Empire could struggle off of that. Charles, can you at least see the screen in race number 8?
I can see it. Yeah, I can see everything. I just don't see me.
All right. Well, again, the too many first-time starters, too many one-timers in here, Charles, so we don't have the simulations or the early speed stuff. We'll go ahead, just go straight to picks again.
Yeah, the 7 horse is my top pick here. Solid works. Trainer gets 13% with first timers. This horse is bred for speed. Yes, breeding does count, my people. The 1 horse is my second choice. Ran second last time out. Tactical speed. The horse he definitely fits in this group. I just don't know about beating the 7. The 8 is my third choice. Solid works once again. Dam has 6 winners from 6 starters. One of them's a stakes horse. So bred to win early. So once again, this is where you get the breeding comes important from the mother mainly, not from the father.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 11 is my final choice here. They had not the blinkers. They had Lasix today. It ran even last time, so it probably did some learning. Got some tactical speed. Fits with this group, so it might be a little dangerous. And I'm going to take my last $6, and I'm doing a $3 double from the 7 to the 412 in the next race.
I'm going to start with the 8 horse Tis By You. First timer, and if you look at the works tab, you see each work is getting a little better, a little better, a little better, a little better. Going to bring that to the track today with improving form on the racetrack. Number 3, Desired Legacy, is a first timer as well, Charles. That last workout stands out to me and has a series of 5 furlong workouts as well getting prepped. A horse should be fit and ready to go in its debut. Hector's Trojan Wife showed some early pace last time out. Going to get that first Lasix, which usually is a good coupling. A little early speed fade, give it a dose of Lasix. The speed usually holds a little bit longer. Been off since July, but did start training again on March the 1st and has 33 furlongs of workout. So another horse that should be in form, ready to go after some, well, not any R&R, but tough work getting started. And then finally, the 7 horse, your top pick, Forever Blessed, was a tough call over the 1 for me, Charles's top 2 picks. But so far, the 1 has had 5 chances to win and 3 at the distance. Hasn't won, hasn't even hit the board at the distance in short sprints. So we'll give the 7 the crack here instead. Again, no money for me at all in this race either because I'm all out. The last race that we're going to do of thoroughbreds, I'll have the quarter horse picks for me. Again, we're going to close it out at 1 mile on the turf. 1 mile on the turf, 4 races, kind of tough to get a sense of who's going to do what because half of them were won by speed, half of them were won by closers. In the 9th and final race with thoroughbreds, Charles, a couple of scratches in there, but again, a race that has plenty of pace up front.
Yeah, plenty. The 9 at 27% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole, but look at the 7 and 8. They both got basically 21% each to get that lead also at the quarter pole. And don't forget about that 12. He'll be pushing them along too. So, you got 4 horses that really want to take the lead big time, or at least push it.
Mm-hmm.
We have simulation odds. We have the 2. The 2 is slightly over 6-1 and 15-1 morning line. The 3, slightly over 3-1, and it's 4-1 morning line. The 4, 4-1, 8-1 morning line, and that is it.
You got an array of C-zone scores over here. A couple green ones in there. It looks like the Star for Cora has the best setup in terms of its running style. It should be the most comfortable based upon the early pace. The 2 horse in here. Bet Your Assets does have the Lone E designation, but does it have the most early speed? It does not. So the 2 horse could get out to the front, maybe be discouraged that it can't get the lead. And if it does go to the lead, it's likely to go a little too fast. A lot of these NC horses back in here, Charles, they've never been close in their races, not within 5 furlongs of the leader at the finish wire, but they might be involved. A bunch of these horses early on. Maybe the end is where this race is going to be one where Lucky Anna does have the most late speed, but none of them really standing out. And then finally, the early speed, late speed combination, very competitive race, except for maybe the handful at the bottom. Not quite sure what the first timer is going to do. Charles, take us through your picks on what you think they're going to do.
Yeah, I like that 12. The 12 is bred for turf. The Dam has 2 winners from 5 starters. 2 of them are 1 on turf. Walsh gets 14% with first time putting him on the grass. So, I mean, a lot of things say good things about that 12, especially with it having a 17% chance. I think he'll be sitting in the catbird seat. And then the 4 horse, this horse is bred for turf. The Dam has 6 winners from 9 starters. The 6 winners all won on the grass. This horse drops in class today, so it makes him a very dangerous horse here. The 8 horse drops also today, has some of that speed to either take it wire to wire, keep it close, or whatever, and it's definitely bred for that. And then the 7 drops in class, well bred itself, tries turf for the first time.
I'm going to start with 8 Schumer. was supposed to debut on the turf at Gulfstream Park, got moved off to the all-weather track where it showed some early speed and then faded on the all-weather, which is pretty common down there. So perhaps getting back to a surface where he can get to the front and do all right could work to the 8 horses' benefit. Mrs. Speaker. So I guess this is a politically inclined race here with Schumer and Mrs. Speaker. We're looking at a lot of the other horses in here. Many of them haven't really shown a whole lot. So I'm going to go ahead and give the first timer a crack, considering that it has a bullet in its last workout. And we've talked about that bullet and go angle on first time starters already today. But if you're just joining us, Barry Meadows, the skeptical handicapper, identified that as a winning angle at 15% or higher. Number 12, Sheer, should be better in the third start. Charles's favorite angle after a layoff, has the best turf pedigree score. So Charles is circling that one with the magic marker for sure. And since its debut, 4 races in total, upped its speed figure in every race after its debut. So the horse is definitely improving. Finally, Honeytown improved enough from race number 1 to race number 2 to warrant hope for similar improvement in race number 3, especially since it has 3 really good workouts between races. And again, I'm out of money, so there's really not a whole lot I can do in terms of bets. And then the final race on the day, Charles, is race number 10. Charles didn't even try to make any picks in race number 10, just proving that the only way he can make picks is if he goes ahead and looks at my notes first. I'm going to go ahead in race number 10 with this 250-yard maiden. Wait, I mean, all of them first-time starters, so you might as well just put a random number generator together. But I went ahead in my picks for race number 10 and went with the 2, 4, 3, and 7. Those are the 3 that I'm going to go for. And hope maybe the 7 comes home your winner in there. Those are all of our picks today for Horseshoe Indianapolis. Charles and I will be back tomorrow for Belmont. Maybe you'll be able to do more than just hear Charles. You'll be able to actually see something other than a still shot of Charles. And then, of course, tonight, Jamie and Sean will be back. Make sure you tune in for that, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, both on Facebook and on YouTube. We appreciate the help with the algorithms. Any final thoughts, Charles, before we get out of here today?
No, that's about it. It looks like nice weather here, and hopefully where you're at, it's nice, and let's get some winners.
Indeed. Well, speaking of winners, one of the places you might be able to find some winners today is at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Our free track of the day is Thistledowns. There is a link in the description down below. Click on that, and in race number 1, Cat's Rhythm was a best bet. Hopefully it fared well today. Please use the link down there in the description so they know where you're coming from. And if you're going to bet baseball, like our good friend Jared, who's out in Las Vegas looking to make some baseball bets, check out Picks with the Professor, an actual statistics professor using his knowledge to his advantage to go out there and make some winning picks, looking for statistical edges. Again, there is a link down in the description below. All right, Charles, that wraps it up for today. Yeah, it's too long before race number 3 to stick around and kill time for that long. Myself and Tom will be back for Foreign Fridays for Newmarket, I believe, on Friday. So you're going to want to check that out. Tentative on Saturday. I might have to go do something, so we'll keep you up to speed with that. No matter what it is you're doing today, I know you have to be pleased to death that you can only see a still shot of Charles, that you do have God's grace and God's favor, and that no matter what it is that you do, Charles continues to keep his face off TV, and everything else ends up in the
winner circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us, folks. Have a fantastic hump day.